keep walking. Keep walking and keep walking and keep walking and keep walking. Thing you're trying to do ain't working out. Just keep walking. Just keep trying. Try to find a new way to do it. And then try to find another new way to do it. And then when those 3 ways don't work, then you kick back, you assess the situation. And then you try to find another way to do it. You feel me? If you're intent on getting that objective completed, what else is there to do but to keep trying to do it? It won't happen if you don't try. It ain't gonna get completed. All right? So you just gotta keep trying, keep walking. Now, heard a quote, again, recently pop into my reality, and this, from what I heard, it's supposed to be an Einstein quote, but I didn't read it in his diary, and I had his diary for quite some time, where basically was to say the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Like, to a degree, that's true, right? If you just keep trying the thing and it's not working over and over again, there's no sign of it working over and over again, and you're kind of like sitting there expecting it to work a certain way, that could be insanity, yes. But in some ways, could it not also be considered persistence? Could it not also be considered discipline? If you do 500 push-ups every day and you expect those 500 push-ups to get your body in shape, to get your chest stronger, your back stronger, your arms stronger, get your core stronger, you expect those 500 push-ups to do that thing, then, you know, yes, if you expect that to see the result of that in the span of a day, yeah, that's insane. It's not going to work. It doesn't work like that in reality. But to expect the result to turn out over a span of time, eventually, I don't think that's insane at all. So I think it depends on the timetable that you're looking at and the scale that you're looking at. Because if you're looking at short-term gains, looking at instant gratification, what's up? If you're looking at, these kind of things, then yeah, if you're expecting the result to come in that time frame, instant gratification, meaning like right after I do this action, I get the result I want, right? If you're looking for that, well, most things, if it's not working, then that's insane. But oftentimes you have to be able to check your patience, you have to be able to check your value system, and you have to be able to kind of just sit and just breathe for a moment and just focus. But not just breathe and focus, but also like really be able to, in a sense, detach, from the outcome to get into the process of doing the thing, right? And when you detach from the outcome to get into the process, what I found, at least, this may not be the case for everybody or for everything, but what I found oftentimes, even as recent as today, is oftentimes it'll get me to that desired outcome anyway, especially because like the way that I think personally, when I'm doing a thing or I'm focusing on a thing, I pour so much fucking focus and energy on that thing that is damn near, it's basically like, I know it leaves like a lasting impression on like my brain physically when I really, really think about a thing. Like it could damn near probably pop up on my arm as a tattoo. That's how hard I think about things that I want to achieve. So when you have that level of applied focus and then you decide to draw back and just be with the process instead of trying to force it to go through with your brain, chances are your mind will kind of guide you through ideas that get you to that objective anyway. It'll flow naturally there. It's like, okay, you already carve out the neural pathways of a certain action or a certain process by thinking of the process and taking action towards the process over and over again, right? So these neural pathways, as you start sending these sparks and sending these thoughts throughout your neurons, and I'm loosely talking about neuroscience here. I'm not being very precise with my language here, so just bear with me for a bit. As you send these impulses, these thought impulses, through your mind from neuron to neuron, and it starts creating pathways. Like you imagine like this road, right? Imagine this road is a neural pathway. Imagine if I take this road every day, the pathway gets more and more refined to where eventually you can see my footsteps in that motherfucker, right? Then what'll happen is with time, you'll get to a position to where you don't necessarily have to apply so much effort to that particular neural pathway. And then your thoughts more easily go through, the impulses more easily flow through to the natural result of where that pathway leads. That's how this stuff with action works. What I want y'all to do me a favor, whatever. What I want y'all to do is just like think about a thing that you've done, a skill that you've picked up, a task that you've set yourself out to do, or whatever. Just think about a thing and think about when you first started, the very first day. Maybe it was riding a bike. Maybe it was learning a new language. Maybe it was when you learned to write, right? Think about what it was like those first days. Like when you were writing and you first drew the letter A, that shit was so clunky. And maybe the top parts of your A didn't connect. Or maybe your slash across in the A, maybe it wasn't completely straight and it wasn't centered, right? It was awkward. It took you a lot of time. It took you a lot of focus, right? When you're riding a bike, let's say you first take off the training wheels and then you start pedaling. You were so used to having that extra support and balance alongside you to keep you straight up that you all of a sudden now it's difficult. Now you're rocking from side to side. You're trying to figure out how to position your back and your body to make sure that you can pedal straight without falling off, right? This goes for anything. So think about that process. Think about how difficult it was at first. And then imagine, okay, after, maybe you started to write in, I don't know, kindergarten or first grade. Maybe you started a little bit sooner. Okay, imagine what it felt like then and how difficult it was then and how easy it was by the time you got to 9th grade or 10th grade, right? Like think about how naturally it will flow out. How many different reps you had in applying yourself to the task of writing, how it made it easier, right? So the same thing goes for essentially what happens there is you going through the process of activating these neurons and these neural pathways and getting it to fire along these certain configurations. You doing that so many times made it so it was easier for you to do that thing. So that applies to everything. I'm gonna come back in a little bit. I want y'all to subscribe if y'all aren't already. I want to dig a little bit deeper into this. Peace.